Hello and welcome to ILTV's Israel Daily. I'm Aaron Porras, and coming up in today's newscast, American and Arab world leaders arriving for a historic summit in the Negev, and former Prime Minister Ehud Olmert joining us to discuss. Meanwhile, U.S. President Biden blasted for perhaps promising more than the West can deliver as Russia's invasion of Ukraine gaining speed. Finally, spring is here and the Passover holiday nearing. Will coronavirus see a resurgence in Israel? Our top news, Israeli Prime Ministers Naftali Bennett and Yair Lapid hosting a U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and foreign ministers from the UAE, Bahrain, Morocco, and Egypt for a landmark summit in the Negev. And topics for discussion expected to include deepening Israeli-Arab world ties, various regional threats, the invasion of Ukraine, the Israel-Palestine conflict, and more.
The United States will continue to invest in the region, strengthening the relationships that are central to stability in the Middle East and North Africa, making progress on enduring challenges, broadening opportunities for our people, and at the same time staying focused on ending the Kremlin's war of aggression.
But primarily, Israeli and Arab parties to the summit expected to want to discuss unity against Iran. This as a new JCPOA now just days from being signed, and the IRGC likely to be removed from the United States' list of officially recognized terror groups. Additionally, Iranian proxy groups like the Houthis in Yemen increasing their offensive and destabilizing actions in the region, and Israel may be seen as a more reliable partner in countering such threats, especially after the West essentially seen leaving Ukraine to fight for itself against Moscow. And now joining me to discuss the historic Negev summit and more, former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert. Former Prime Minister, thank you so much for joining us. Now, first off, in general, what do you make of the Negev summit between Israel, the U.S., the UAE, Bahrain, and Morocco? What message does it send to the world?
I think first of all, I think it sends a message to all of the participants. This is no doubt a very significant event. The fact that Arab countries, Egypt, the Emirates, Morocco, Bahrain, together with the Secretary of State of the United States, all come to Israel. They didn't come to Jerusalem, but one can understand the sensitivities, but they are meeting in the state of Israel. This is a major event by itself, regardless of what may come out of it. So I think that it couldn't have happened before. It happens now. It shows that there is a new axis, that Israel is in the center of it, of important countries that share enough interest to justify such a meeting in the state of Israel.
Well, so that's actually exactly what I wanted to ask you, because it seems that Israel is increasingly becoming a significant player in regional geopolitics, more so than before. Is this really all because of Iran, a common enemy, or does it run deeper, as you say, with common values and further sharing of interests?
Well, one has to remember that before the summit, we made peace. Diplomatic peace and formal peace with Morocco, with the Emirates, with Bahrain. So the beginning of this breakthrough is the peace agreements that we signed with those countries, and it I think manifests that there are common interests, and that these common interests are not discussed quietly behind the scenes. Underground, but it's done openly in front of the whole world. And I think this is a very important message to many other countries in the area which may join in eventually to this new axis.
Well, so what kind of grade would you give to Foreign Minister Lapid and Prime Minister Bennett with respect to international conduct?
In general, I think that they are doing quite well. I think that they proved that the leadership of the State of Israel is recognized by the international community, that is highly respected.
To watch full episodes of ILTV's Israel Daily and tons of other content from Israel, visit our website at iltv.tv or download the ILTV Plus app.